Hey guys! So to say thank you for all the support I received so far on this channel, I decided to post a tutorial today. This video is going to be for a couple of delicious pizzas, so I really hope you'll enjoy. If you like these videos, definitely give the video a thumbs up and also let me know if you have any food requests in the comments. You want to begin by taking a very light dough color, then take a small piece and flatten it using your hands. Next, I took one of my silicone tools and used this to flatten it a bit more and give it the right shape. And you want to make sure to leave the edges thicker than the rest. You then want to take a toothbrush and give it that baked texture. If you have any questions about the supplies I use, I'm going to link my last video in the info box. In that video I go through the different materials and tools I recommend having if you want to make miniature food. Next, I took a needle tool and used this to make some lines, folds and creases in the dough, which is just going to add some more realism. Before moving on to the next step, I pre-baked the crust. I then started adding some shading using soft pastel. Because the clay has been pre-baked, I apply them using a wet brush, and the reason why I pre-bake it before adding the shading is so that I don't lose any texture. Once I was done, I sealed this with a matte glaze just to protect it. And I then used 2 more shades of pastel to add some more shading. I didn't add glaze to protect these once I was done, but you can do this if you prefer. To make the tomato sauce and cheese, I mixed TLS and acrylic paint. I know it's not usually recommended to mix water-based products with polymer clay, but the reason why I do this is because it gives it a slightly different texture, which I really like for some miniatures. And I'm just mixing it about half and half. For these pizzas, I'm going to show you how to make 4 different types of topping. The first one being pepperoni, and for this I used 2 colors of polymer clay, one being a very warm medium brown and the other one being an orangey red. You want to roll out some thin snakes of both and then combine them, roll them out again, and then repeat until you're happy with the inside. Use a sharp blade to cut some really thin slices, and then if you want, you can use the blade to flatten them a bit more. Add some texture using a toothbrush and place them on your pizza. Once cooked, pepperoni is usually not completely flat, so you just want to use a needle tool to give it a few folds. For the basil, I just took some green clay and flattened it using my X-Acto knife. I then trimmed off any excess clay to give it the right shape and used a needle tool to make the lines. And I'm sculpting these on the back of a mold. Because I only wanted 2 toppings on each pizza, I baked this before adding shading to the basil. And for the shading, I'm just using acrylic paint. The next topping is ham, and I just used a few different shades from my scrap clay as well as some translucent. I then used these to build up a very simple cane, and I didn't spend a lot of time figuring out where to put each color. The most important thing is that you have some variation in the shades. Press and stretch the cane until you have the size you want, and then cut off some thin slices. For the texture on these, I'm going to be using the toothbrush again, but this time in a brushing motion rather than dabbing. And then place these on your pizza as well, just like you did with the other components. The last topping I'm going to show you how to make in this video is rucola, and for this I again just flattened some green clay, used my X-Acto knife to cut out the basic shape, and used the needle tool to add the lines or veins. Place them on the pizza and bake. And the shading on these is the same as with the basil, so I'm not going to show that in this video. For some finishing touches, I added some shading to the meats and also to kind of like the pizza itself. And for this I used 2 shades of acrylic paint as well. I might make another pizza tutorial on this channel at some point, including some more toppings. Personally, I really like pepperoni, paprika and pineapple, but what are some of your personal favorite toppings? I also mixed some matte glaze with some black craft sand and applied this like spices. And once this had dried, I finished off using some glass glaze. For the other pizza, I mixed a pale green acrylic paint to add a few veins on the rucola. And then the final step for both pizzas is the flour, which I made by mixing matte glaze and white pastel. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up to show your support and click the bell to get notified with new videos because YouTube is currently broken. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next tutorial.